Today I'm going to walk you through how to create a gem in Gemini. Before we go into the how-to, let's talk about what Gemini actually is. In the simplest terms, a gem is a custom version of Gemini that you've pre-trained to do a specific job. Think of it like a specialized app within Gemini that you build yourself without needing to know a single line of code. Standard Gemini is a generalist. It knows a little bit about everything. A gem, however, is a specialist. You give it a specific personality, specific set of rules, and even specific documents to follow. As teachers, we spend massive amounts of time prompting AI. We find ourselves typing the same things over and over again. I'm a grade teacher in Ontario. Please use a professional tone. Make sure that this aligns with the curriculum. By creating a gem, you do your work once. The benefit of using a gem is that every response in your gem gives you exact instructions. You skip the introduction phase and you just drop your data into the gem and it already knows your context. You can ground your gem in official documents like the Ministry of Education's curriculum documents, and it references the actual curriculum. It's not going to just take a guess or reference other things that it's found that are similar. You could create a gem specifically for a curriculum area, for parent communication, for assessment generation. There are many different options that you can come up with. So today we're going to build a lesson planning gem for a grade 5 teacher who's looking to lesson plan their science curriculum. To access Gemini, you're going to go to your My Apps dashboard, click on AI, and go to Gemini. From there, you'll see your Gemini interface, and we want to access our gems. So you're going to click on this, gems right here, and then click on New Gem. Let's look under the hood. When you click New Gem, you're taken to the creation interface. This is the back end of your gem. It's divided into a few key sections that act as the DNA of your new assistant. So first of all, we want to be able to give our gem a name. This is for organization's sake and will also help you find your gem on this side here when you enter Gemini. Next, you're going to give your gem a description. When we think of that description, think of it like a Post-it note or something that gives a big overview of what exactly that gem is that you want it to do. Next, in here is your instructions. And you can really think of this almost as the prompt phase. So this is the most important part of the back end where you write the system prompt. You're not just giving a one-time command, you're setting rules. So as an educator, we can think about things like the persona. Who is the AI? What's its main job? What rules do you want it to follow? And how should it look? Finally, we have our knowledge base. And this is the spot where you can upload documents like the Ontario curriculum or documents that are important to the knowledge of this gem. When you focus on those documents, it's going to directly pull from there and will almost act as if the brain of the gem itself. Now that we've gone into the DNA of our gem and knowing exactly what the back end looks like, we're going to actually create a gem together. So I can name my gem, and I'm going to name this Grade 5 Science Lesson Planner. I'm then going to give it a description. So I'm going to say, you are an expert grade 5 teacher in Ontario. Your goal is to create hands-on lessons, inquiry-based, that follow the Ontario science curriculum. I then want to go into the instructions, exactly what I want it to do and where I want it to pull that information from. So I've created this on the side, but you'll see that my interface here is starting to update. And I'm going to put in those instructions here. So I'm going to say that within all of my lessons, I want learning goals that are written in student-friendly language. I want success criteria, again, in student-friendly language. I want each lesson to be structured as a minds-on, 5-minute engaging opening, action, consolidation. I want some examples of accommodations, and you can be specific there what accommodations you're looking for. I also would like at the end of all of my assessments, at the end of all my lessons, for it to give me some suggestions for assessments. Now, it doesn't mean that I have to use them all, but it's going to give me a suggestion to really think about and be intentional in my lesson plan. Now, something that's really nice about the gems in Gemini is this button here. So I can use actually Gemini to rewrite my instructions, and it will give me some suggestions to make it really, really specific for the context of what I want. Now, I'm always going to go through and look really carefully at what those are. Is it exactly what I want it to do? So ensure all lesson components are aligned with student-friendly language and pedagogical best practices. Love that. Provide diverse strategies for engagement, hands-on learning, and assessment. So as I go through, I can really fine-tune and make this lesson planner exactly what I want it to be. Now, the last part that's really important is that knowledge base right here. So what I can do is I can upload documents, and it is going to use that as its brain when this gem is created. So I'm going to click on my plus, and I know that I can pull from Google Drive, or I can upload files directly from my computer. So I want to bring in the science curriculum, and specifically for grade 5. So I'm going to go to the curriculum website. I am going to click on my downloads right here. And then I can choose exactly what I would like to download. So I'm going to pick and choose. I'm going to click on select grade. I'd like grade 5. I also want those teacher supports in there. And I want the curriculum context, assessment, and evaluation. I'm also going to focus on the transferable skills because I'd like those embedded in all of my lessons. And then I'm going to click on download as PDF. And you'll see those downloads are starting for you here, and they will go directly to your device, or if you want them to, you can load them to your Google Drive. So now that I've downloaded my curriculum documents, I'm going to add them to my gem. So I click on this plus right here, upload files, and I'm going to click on my grade 5 science, transferable skills, as well as my grade 5 curriculum, assessment, and teacher guide. I click open, and that's going to directly load into my gem. Now, I can add up to 10 other files within a gem. So I could put growing success in there. I could put any other documents that I have that really form the foundation of my science curriculum and what I would like to have in my interaction. Then finally, what I'm going to do is click on save. And now from here, I have my gem that's created. So I can click on start chat, and I can put in something like create me an intro lesson for the human body. You'll see I don't have to put a whole lot into that prompt because my back-end gem is doing all the work for me. It's pulling from the curriculum, making sure it's curriculum aligned. It's going to do that minds-on action consolidation as I asked. It's creating learning goals for me. Again, it will always be student-friendly language because that's what I told it to do. As I scroll here, you'll see all of the pieces that I asked Gemini to have in my gem. Now I can go back and I can say something like, create me a rubric, or I don't like this lesson, propose me another one. I can give all the instructions that I want to really interact within this gem. Now let's say as I'm using my gem, I realize there was a key document that I forgot, or it's doing something that I don't really like. I can always go back in, I click on these 3 dots here, and I can edit my gem. Again, it will bring me back to my interface. I can give other instructions. I can upload more knowledge if I'd like. I can get rid of documents if I don't like them. And it is an iterative process that I can use when I'm creating this gem. Now, the other really exciting thing here is if I go back into my grade 5 lesson planner, something else that I can do, I might have a teaching partner who I've created this gem with, or I'd really like to share this with. I can click on these 3 dots, and I can share my gem with my colleagues. You can do that directly through your Google Drive. One thing to be really careful of, make sure that when you are sharing that with your colleagues, that any documents that are there are directly shared with them so they have access to the brain of your gem as well. So that in a nutshell is how to create a gem in Gemini. Let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything else you'd like to run through. Thanks so much.